Today, we are going to learn some basics of coding. What is coding, you ask? Coding is just giving the computer a set of instructions to follow to get it to do what you want it to do. Now, a lot of times, computer programmers make codes in our video games so that we can play them on our computer. Today, we're going to talk about some basic moves, and in particular, getting this dragon that you see on the screen to do things that we want it to do, like move and breathe fire. So let's get started. We're going to be using the Tynker program that's found in Google Classroom. When we finish, we'll earn this fun badge. So today, we're going to be able to create and customize our own dragon. We're going to use code blocks to solve puzzles. We're going to apply something called logic, and we're going to learn how to combine loops with this logic. So when we get started with our program and coding, we're going to see these purple blocks on the side of our screen. The words on the blocks say what we want that character, in this case the dragon, to do. So this first one is forward. So when we plug in this forward block, guess what direction the dragon's going to move? That's right, it's going to move forward. When we plug in this block that says fly up, our dragon will fly up. And when we plug in this block, the dragon will do what the block says. That's right, it says eat. So our dragon will eat. This next block says blast. So if we want the dragon to blast at somebody or breathe fire, we'll plug in that one. This block says go down, so it would make the dragon fly down. This block says turn around, so we would make the dragon fly or move in the opposite direction. So if it was going forward, we plug in turn around, the dragon will move backwards. Now, these orange blocks are called condition blocks, and these are a little bit more tricky. So for every purple block that we have, the dragon will move in that direction until we tell it to stop, or will do that action just once unless we tell it to do it more than once. So this first block that we're going to use is the repeat block. If we put this repeat block into our puzzle and then plug in a purple block underneath, that dragon will do that step or that action the number of times that we tell it to. So if we say we want it to blast, we would put the blast block in this spot right here, and then we would tell it how many times we would want it to blast. This next block is a condition block. If something, then this. So if we put in here a picture of a firefly, if the dragon runs into the firefly, then we could tell it that we want it to eat. So we would plug in right here the eat block. So every time it would see a firefly, it would eat it. This next block down here says repeat until something. So we're going to make the dragon repeat something until something else happens. And we'll put the something else right here. And we'll put the action that we want it to do here. So maybe we might say fly up until it reaches the firefly. So here we go. When we see the word forward block, this block makes the dragon continuously move straight in the direction that it's facing. Once the dragon runs into an obstacle, it will stop moving forward. Sometimes the dragon will need to fly upwards to reach the treasure. Use this code block to reach new heights. So if we want it to keep moving forward and then we want it to fly up once it hits the wall, we would connect the two blocks together. The go down block makes the dragon move in the direction down. You should use this block to make the dragon reach the lower platforms. So if it is walking across the screen and we want it to go down, we'll plug in a go down block. This turn around block we would use if the dragon needs to face the opposite direction. So we would make our string of purple blocks and then put turn around when we'd want the dragon to turn around. We might want the dragon to turn around if he reaches the end of the path, or if we need him to, if he hits a wall and we need him to go back the other way after eating a firefly. Now these blocks are the tricky ones, and those are the orange ones. If you notice a pattern in your code, you should use a repeat block. So for instance, if we want our dragon to fly up and then move over, we would do a purple fly up block, a purple move forward block. But then instead of connecting those blocks again, we could just put it inside a repeat, meaning we want it to do those same two things over and over again. Fly up, move forward, fly up, move forward. And you can change the number of times you want it to repeat by clicking inside this orange circle and typing in your number. Now, one of the things that we're going to need to do in our game today to program our dragon, we want him to defeat the knights. So step 1, we're going to want him to eat the fly, and then we're going to want him to blast the knight. Okay, so we're going to use these eats and blast blocks along with some of our condition blocks, which were those orange ones that you see right here. So if we see a flyer fly, then we want him to eat. So we're going to run the code inside this block if the dragon sees a firefly one space ahead. We're going to use this one with a blast block if we want the dragon to see a fire knight one space ahead, and he'll blast him. That was one of our objectives in our game. Did you know that you can use multiple condition statements in your code? In the example on the right, you would want to use these if-then blocks. So if we see a red flag, then we'd want him to go up, because otherwise, if we just say move forward, the dragon's going to keep going in this direction right through the red flag. We can also say if we see a yellow flag, then we want him to move forward. And we can put these right into our regular code. Should we try some examples? All right. Let's go. Oops, let me grab the correct screen. So we're going to go back into Google Classroom. We're going to click on our Tynker assignment. You're going to log in with your account. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to design our dragon avatar. All right, so this is what I was talking about. Every time we're going to want the dragon to do something, we're going to use these blocks. And every one we're going to start with is on start. And then we're going to plug in the blocks that we want to use. All right, so let's just get through this introduction, and then we should then come to our dragon that we're going to create. This is just showing us some ways that people use coding. All right, so let's see if we can skip this video. And get to our dragon. Here we go. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick the dragon. I like this one. And you can change whatever you want to. We can put a funny hat on the dragon. We could put a collar on the dragon. All right. And then when you're ready and after you built your dragon, you can click start. All right, so it tells us to connect the code blocks in our program and your dragon will win. Now, after you've read the block on top, you're going to want to click anywhere on the screen so that you can see your set of blocks. And again, this one tells us what our first Lego block would do. The forward block will make the dragon go straight in the direction that it's facing, and it will only stop when it sees an obstacle, like this wall. Now, don't just rush over those. You probably need to read them because it's going to help you with your coding. So on start, that's what we're always going to start with. We're going to click and drag this move forward block, and we're going to connect it like we would a Lego. So that means when I click this play button or start, my dragon is going to move forward. So let's see what happens when I do that. Oops, here we go. My dragon keeps moving forward. And it reaches the treasure. Oh, I need to let her finish. And then I will get my completion for that one. So there's all my points. It's moving forward. And I'm ready to move on to the next one. All right, now I need to use my fly up to the platform to collect the treasure. So let's think this through before I start connecting my blocks, all right? I need it to move forward and then fly up. So I'm going to also use this fly up block. So if we look, I want the dragon first to move forward. If I plugged in my fly up block, my dragon's going to just keep going up, 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 and up. So if I want it to move forward, it will move forward till it reaches this wall, and then it will fly up. So on start or play, I want my dragon to move forward and then fly up. All right, let's test it and see if we did it. It's moving forward. It hits the wall, and then it flies up. Uh-oh, but I didn't tell it to get the treasure. So what do you think I'm going to need to do next? That's right, I need another move forward. So it moved forward, it flew up, but then it stopped at the wall. So your dragon is only going to do what you tell it to. So in this case, it will be move forward, it will fly up, and then it will move forward again and get the treasure. Sometimes when we're coding, we're going to need to use problem solving. If your dragon doesn't do what you wanted it to do, it's probably because you didn't tell it correctly. All right. Now here's where we're going to use a repeat block, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to want the dragon to fly up, move forward, fly up, move forward, fly up, move forward. And that's a lot of purple blocks. So I'm going to use this repeat block to tell my dragon that I want it to do the same thing over and over again. So on start, the first thing I want my dragon to do is what? That's right, fly up. And then I want it to move forward. So I could just keep clicking my fly up, move forward blocks and make a big long chain, but it's easier if I do this. I'm going to plug in a repeat. The first thing I wanted to do is fly up. So I'm going to grab my fly up and I'm just going to connect it inside. Now, don't put it down here or it's not going to work right. You need to connect it inside so that what you want it to do is inside the orange block here. So I want it to fly up and then move forward. And how many times am I going to want to do it? Well, let's count. So that would be 1, that would be 2, and that would be 3. So I'm going to click in this box right here. I'm going to change it to 3. I'm going to hit enter. And then let's test it and see what happens. Fly up, move forward. Now look how it's repeating. Fly up, move forward, fly up, move forward. And I got the treasure. All right. So now we're going to use one of those condition blocks. We want it to eat the firefly and then fly up and blast the fire knight to get the treasure. So let's give this a whirl. All right, so here's the firefly, and that's what happens when it eats it. Okay, so on start, what do we need to do first? Well, I want him to move in this direction and get to this firefly and eat it. So I'm going to tell him to move forward. And then if we see a firefly, what do I want him to do? That's right, I want him to eat it. So I'm going to grab this eat block and I'm going to plug it in inside my orange. Then I'm going to want him to go what? I don't want him to move forward. I want him to fly up. So I'm going to tell him to fly up. Oops. But do you see how it went inside? I don't want him to eat and fly up. I want to do it afterwards. So I'm going to put it underneath. So I'm going to connect it under my orange. So then I want him to fly up. And then if he sees the night, I want him to blast him. So I'm going to connect my blast inside this orange one. And after he blasts the night, I want him to move in what direction? I don't want him to keep flying up. I want to get to my treasure. So then I'm going to have him move forward. And I want to make sure that I connect that underneath my orange block. Okay, so I'm going to, just before I press play, I'm going to run through my set of code and I'm going to see if I got this right. So I want first my dragon to move forward. Then if he sees the firefly, I want him to eat him. Then I want him to fly up. And if he sees the night, blast him with fire and then move forward. So let's test it and see. There he is moving forward. He sees the firefly, he ate him. He's flying up. He sees the night. He's going to blast him with fire. The night falls down and my dragon moves forward and gets the treasure. Okay. We'll do one more together before I let you try this on your own. So we want to eat the lightning fly and blast the lightning night and reach the treasure. So our dragon is going to have to do a lot of moving around, and this is going to be a lot of planning. And remember that at one point we want him to switch directions and turn around. So we might have to use a different block, one that we haven't. All right, so on start, what do we want him to do first? Well, I think we need him to fly up, don't you? So let's find our fly up, and we might have to use a scroll bar. Do we see fly up? I see it right here. On start, we want him to fly up. And then I see a lightning bug here. So if I see a lightning night, then I want him to eat him. So I'm going to put the eat inside there. Now, after he flies up and eats this, we want him to move what direction? That's right, forward. So I'm going to make him move forward. But I want to make sure I plug it in under my orange block. So he's moving forward, forward, forward. Uh-oh. Then what I want him to do? Well, I'm going to want him to turn around so that he faces the other direction so that he can then move down. And when he moves down, if he sees the, I made a mistake here. If he sees the lightning night, I grabbed the wrong one up on top here. I wonder if it will let me go back and change it. Yeah, I can just go back and trash that part. So let me go back and think here. I want him to fly up, and then there was that firefly right here. So fly up, I'm going to insert my lightning fly there. I wanted him to eat that lightning fly. All right. So if you make a mistake, you can just click on whichever block you want to toss on the trash, and it will get rid of it. And then you can just insert it. So, all right. So let's go back to see where we're at. We want him to fly up. If he sees the lightning fly, eat him. Then move forward, turn around, go down. If we see this lightning night, what do we need him to do? We don't want to eat this one. We want him to blast him, right? So I'm going to grab my blast. But then I'm not done because then I need him to move forward to get to the treasure. All right, that's a lot of code. And the more code that we put in to tell our dragon, the more likely that we might make a mistake. So if we press play and it doesn't work, that's okay. We can just go back and try again. And if you get stuck, we can take a deep breath and we can raise our hand and ask for help, or we can take another deep breath and just try again. So let's press play and see what happens. All right, there he goes up. We got it so far. He's eating it. He's moving forward. He's going to keep moving forward until he hits an obstacle. He's going to turn around, fly down. Lightning night, blast. and move forward. Hey, it looks like we're going to do it. Hooray! All right, we did it. So friends, I want you to go back to Google Classroom now and go ahead and try to do these on your own. And remember, if you get stuck or if it doesn't work out, try again. You can do your 5-finger breathing, take a breath to calm back down, and try again. Good luck.